Native Instruments Reaktor has several ensembles that generate sound continuously. They're quite beautiful, but they can be a bit of a nuisance if you're trying to use them in a program like Logic because the sound does not stop and start with the transport. Here's one of those presets, one of those ensembles. This ensemble is called Metaphysical Fabrication. It's quite beautiful, and that's just one of many patches in the ensemble. But you'll notice that whether I stop or start Logic, it makes no difference to the playback of the sound. So I'm going to try and solve that problem. The device I'm going to use to make this work is a noise gate. We'll run this through a noise gate. Now, a noise gate is designed to cut out sounds below a certain level, or below a certain threshold. So if the sound is playing, and I raise the threshold far enough, then I will cut the sound out. And the reason is because the entire sound is below 0 dB, so I'm maxing out the threshold here. So that's the way that we're going to make this work, but I want it to respond to the transport control, so I can stop and start. I'm going to hide the synthesizer, and before we begin, we'll just do this. I'm going to check a couple of settings here. In Logic Pro settings, in MIDI, I want to make sure that breath of foot control number 4 is active for reset. So what this will do is it will reset controller 4 to 0 whenever I stop playback, and that's going to be the key. Next, I want to go to the project settings and just check the MIDI chase functions, and I want to make sure that controller number 4, the foot control, will be chased, and that will mean that I can start playback anywhere in the song, and the sound will begin as required. I don't have to start at the beginning. All right, so the first thing that I want to do is add a foot control command to this track. In order to do that, I need a clip, so I'm going to add a clip to the track. And once the clip is there, I'm going to go into the list edit, and I'm going to add a controller. I want to make that happen at 0, so just go back to the beginning and then add that again. So there's my controller. It defaults to modulation. I want controller number 4, which is the foot control. And I'm going to leave it maxed out to a value of 127. So whenever I play back, a value of 127 will equal the threshold low so that the sound comes out. And when I stop playback, the reset will drop the 127 to 0. And I want that to push the threshold up to maximum to stop the sound. And in order to do this, I'm going to use a device that can remap incoming MIDI data. And that's a MIDI effects device called the modifier. Here's the modifier. I'll turn off the through, and that's just because I don't want this MIDI controller data doing anything else except what I'm asking it to. Next, my input event, that's the foot control. I'll set that to foot control. And what I want to do is reassign that to the threshold. So I'll choose learn parameter and then click on the threshold. And now controller number 4, the foot control, has been assigned to the threshold. If I start playback, the sound stops, and if I stop playback, the sound plays. And the reason is that when it is in playback, it's giving me a value of 127. It's maxing out the foot control, which means it's maxing out the threshold. This is the inversion of what I want to actually do. So the trick is to reduce the scale to a negative value and then compensate for the lost amount with the add slider. And now, if I start playback, the sound plays, and when I stop playback, the sound stops, and you'll see the threshold jumping. So there's the problem solved, but I would like it to be a little more elegant than that. So what I'm going to do is to prevent clicks when it starts, I'm going to raise the attack just a little bit to soften the edge. And I also want it to die away a little more gently whenever I stop. Not too much, but a little bit. And now you'll see that I can also start anywhere in the track. And it will operate in the same way, and that's because we've got the MIDI chase on. Logic will always track MIDI controllers prior to the entry point of the playback. So there you go, gating a non-stop sound in Logic. Pretty easy to do. You can even save this as a channel strip, and that makes it usable in any situation. There you go. Thanks. See you later.